This interview is brought to you by OKCoin Crypto Exchange, where you can buy, sell, and trade your favorite cryptocurrencies, and you don't have to pay high fees. OKCoin charges low fees, the lowest in the industry. You can also stake your crypto and keep 100% of the rewards. OKCoin does not charge any fees when it comes to staking. In fact, it is the only exchange where you can buy, sell, and trade Miami Coin and also stake Miami Coin at a high APY, currently at 280%. OKCoin also has a great referral program that if you refer a friend, you guys can split $100 in Bitcoin. So be sure to sign up with OKCoin, link in the description. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto channel, your home for crypto news and interviews. With me today is Bob Ross, who's the co-founder of Sologenic, and we're going to talk about the Solo token airdrop to XRP holders and much more. Bob, great to have you back on the show.
Hi, Tony. Thanks for having me on your channel.
You know, we were talking before the recording. It's been, almost near 2 years, about a year and a half since we last spoke. And last time I spoke to you, you were at CoinField. So can you tell us about when did you transition over to Sologenic?
Yes, as everyone knows, CoinField has been acquired by Tingo Mobile, which is a public company in the US. And mid-September, we have done, we completed the transition and we handed over the whole business, to the new ownership group. And it actually gave us, a big opportunity to focus more on Sologenic ecosystem. That's something that we always love, right? And right now we have better chance and more time to devote on Sologenic ecosystem and the technology that we have been working on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, congrats, getting the acquisition there. I'm sure that worked out well for you and the team. And now you, like you said, you can focus more of your time on Sologenic. So for those who may not be familiar with Sologenic, can you give us an overview of the services and the platform and all the bells and whistles that you provide?
Yes, in a short line, Sologenic is disrupting the trading industry by providing different methods of trading on the decentralized exchange for assets like tokenized securities, crypto assets, as well as NFTs. So this is a very short description of Sologenic ecosystem. And since you brought this up, maybe I can clarify that. There are two separate teams working on Sologenic at this moment. There's Sologenic.com, which is a public limited company, which that team is working on tokenization of stocks and ETF. Mm-hmm. And the other team is the SoloCore team or Sologenic.org. So this team is a nonprofit organization. There are a group of developers, open source developers, that they build and develop new products on XRP Ledger. And their passion is just to expand the Sologenic ecosystem globally. So once the other team, basically the Sologenic.com, which is actually the biggest use case of Sologenic ecosystem, well, once that team obtain the securities license, the broker-dealer license, they're going to go live as a company, as an entity. It's going to have its own team. It's going to have its own, CEO and executive team. I'm not going to be part of that. So my main focus is the technology side, which is the Sologenic org. And, that's basically what I've been focusing on since the transition of CoinField. And that's the plan. That's how I'm going to devote my time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Thanks for clarifying that, because I personally didn't know about the two and the distinction between the two. So because I remember initially when we had spoken, there was the movement to tokenize stocks and equities and things like that. So it sounds like there's a separation there. Now,
sorry to interrupt you. You can, in reality, you cannot combine these two these two team together, because one team is decentralized. It's working on the decentralized technology. It's working on DEX. It's working on the upcoming NFT marketplace, which is everything is being added on the DEX, right? The other part is a regulated. You're talking about traditional financial market, which is it's heavily regulated, right? So you can never combine these two together. And still, we haven't changed the business model. It's exactly as the original business model, and there's no changes. We just we have two separate teams working on the whole ecosystem.
Can you tell us about why the XRP Ledger was selected as the platform to build on?
As I've said this before, XRP is one of the fastest and most cost-efficient blockchain network, in the world. And XRP, when we were deciding and we were, debating between different options that we had at the beginning, we came to the conclusion that XRP Ledger provides us with the exact tools and features that, we needed. We needed to launch such a project. And for that reason, we went with XRP and XRP Ledger. And I'm proud of that, that we have built such a huge, technology and product, on top of the XRP Ledger.
For sure. Can you tell us a bit about the assets you support on the decentralized exchange aspect of, which is, if I make sure I remember correctly, which is sologenic.org, right?
Yes, correct. So sologenic.org supports XRP and different type of IOUs. So these IOUs, they could be tokenized assets, tokenized securities, or they could be NFT or any XRPL tokens.
And how many developers are currently working on the ecosystem? I know you mentioned you have two teams, but let's say the decentralized aspect. Can you tell us a bit about the developers there?
Yes, around 15 developers, they actively working on the project on sologenic.org. And about a team of 5 to 7, they work on sologenic.com. As a matter of fact, sologenic.com product has been completed a long time ago, and the only reason that they have not launched a product yet is because of the licensing. We're still waiting for the license, for the broker-dealer license to be issued. Maybe I can just give you a little bit more update, to the community as well. So we have submitted 2 applications to FSA inside Europe to obtain the license. And one of the main concerns that they had, it was regarding to the trading of tokenized stocks on the DEX. And they having really hard time to understand that nobody controls DEX. And we have been trying really, really hard to get them, to educate them. Basically, right. This is how the DEX works, and nobody controls it. Nobody owns the DEX. It's a decentralized exchange. Nobody even makes any sort of commission on that, right? Nobody has control. But this is one of the obstacles here. But the way that we are going to tackle this, this issue here is. We are considering to acquire broker-dealer, a company who already has a securities brokerage license inside the EU, in UK, and in US. So we are actively looking, into our options. We have not made any decisions yet, but I'm very positive that sometimes, by Q1 in 2022. Perhaps, we are making a decision to acquire, a company and just launch a product. It's been a year and a half, it's been 2 years, and the product has been ready for a long time. If you go on sologenic.com right now on the testnet, you can actually play around. You can tokenize assets, Tesla, any other assets from NASDAQ or NYSE. on our test net, right? And the prices are actually real-time prices. So we are connected to NASDAQ. We're getting the data feed from NASDAQ and NYSE. And yeah, so it's just a matter of the licensing. And I think this is the way to go. We're just gonna acquire, company and launch a product. I know that community, they've been waiting for this for a long, long time. And I think that's the way to go.
That's exciting to hear. And, to your point of it's convincing a lot of these legacy folks how these things work. And I know a lot of them are still trying to process, right? And like you said, there's no owner and things like that when I mean a decentralized setup. So, but it's great to hear that you're looking at an alternative route and to acquire a company that has the broker-dealer license. So let's talk about the upcoming NFT marketplace, which is exciting. NFTs obviously been booming. Tell us about, how the Sologenic marketplace is going to function. Obviously, it's going to be running on the XRP ledger, and will people be able to mint and sell and so on and so forth?
Yes, we are very excited about the upcoming NFT marketplace, which is going to be added on top of the Sologenic tech, sologenic.org. When we designed this new NFT marketplace, we had two points in our head, basically in our mind. The number one was we wanted to resolve, the current high price, high gas fees on Ethereum network or other networks, right? Which is a big deal. Right now, if creators they trying to mint an NFT on Ethereum networks, they have to spend a lot of, they have to pay a huge gas fee. So that's number one. We are solving that problem right there. And number two, we have been trying to design super user-friendly UI. So an average person can easily work with the system. They can mint or even they can trade, these NFTs on the Sologenic DEX.
That's exciting. And to your point, like Ethereum gas fees are ridiculous. So I'm looking forward to having something more cost efficient be put out into the market. And this is going to be great for smaller creators, who are not getting $63 million for an NFT, but maybe they're getting $500 for an NFT, right?
Exactly. That's the plan. That's the plan. And I think it's going to be very successful.
Now, with that NFT marketplace launch, we had big news that you're doing a Solo token airdrop to both Solo holders and XRP holders. Can you tell us about the airdrop?
Yes, we actually, we are unlocking more than half of the total supply. This total supply, they have been locked into Sologenic Community Fund and Sologenic Expansion Fund. When the team designed the Sologenic ecosystem, they designed two separate funds to be locked, and these two funds, they have to be spent towards the expansion, of Sologenic reach and also creating a bigger community, so Sologenic community. So we are doing it right now. We decided, right now that we are launching an NFT marketplace, and perhaps it's going to get very, very big because of the problem that we just spoke about. Nobody wants to pay those high gas fee, right? So we have a great chance. It's a niche market, and it's a great timing right now that we can unlock 200 million Solo tokens to the community, to the XRP and Solo community, just to get a better user engagement, to get more users engaged, and also going mainstream. If you look at our community growth within the past 3-4 weeks, the community, the number of community members keeps going up, right? And that's big. That's exactly what everyone at Sologenic community wants.
For sure. Can you give us the specifics? I know there's a lot of important dates like the snapshot the distribution and when the so snapshot when the distribution is going to happen, and is it like a 1-to-1 ratio of if you hold Solo and XRP and if you participate?
So basically the way that the Solo team decided to arrange that is they're 50%, 50%. So 50% of the whole pool is going for Solo holders, 50% is going for XRP holders. The ratio, nobody knows. It really depends how many Solo holders and how many XRP holders are going to participate, at the time of a snapshot, right? We put some sort of example on our blog, and some people, they got the idea that, okay, it's going to be 5 Solo per 1 Solo. It could be the case, and it could not be the case. Who knows, right? We have to see how many people are going to claim that, right? And in terms of participation, I think a lot of people, I was just looking at the number of trust lines. We are about 155,000 trust lines, right? And I think within the next 2 or 3 days, we're going to be the largest community on the XRP ledger in terms of the number of trust lines.
Wow. That's pretty exciting. And then the snapshot is December 24th. And then can you tell us when the distribution will take place?
Yes. So the distribution is going to take place on January 20th at 8 p.m. UTC time.
Got it. Now, there's a question that came from the community, and some folks are asking, hey, will certain exchanges be participating? I know that's not entirely on you guys. It depends on the exchanges. Can you tell us about if you're in contact with any of them and what's
we are in touch with many exchanges. Our partnership and exchange integration team, they are in touch with many exchanges. Some of these exchanges are tier 1. I've been seeing, our team having multiple video calls, with these exchanges. And I think, but, they are, bigger exchange are not super fast, right? But I'm very positive that, once we get into December, many exchanges, they're going to be confirmed one after each other. At this moment, confirmed exchanges, they are about 4 or 5 exchanges, right? But verbally, we have more exchanges that they confirm that, but they haven't just signed any documents so far, right? Because of some of the community members brought to my attention that there have been some bad experience with some exchanges at the time of distribution for Songbird tokens, right? So we wanted to make sure that this is not the case and it's not going to happen again, right? So that's why we're taking it slower, and we just don't accept it. And exchanges just verbally to agree on that. We wanted to sign the documents, right? So we make sure that the token is going to be distributed to the real owners of XRP or Solo. And so I think sometimes by December, we're going to be hearing more about new listing and airdrop support.
Oh, perfect. There was a question that came from the folks in the community. Will this airdrop be available to everybody worldwide? Are there any restrictions? If you're in the US, can you get it? So on and so forth.
Absolutely. There is no restriction. We are distributing the airdrop, on XRPL blockchain, right? And you just need a wallet address, and you just need to create a trust line. The system doesn't care where you are located as long as you have a trust line with us. And you follow the instruction, which, either you need to hold Solo and or XRP, basically. You just get a portion of the Solo airdrop. Oh. And by the way, I'm having, basically, I heard a lot, I read it on Twitter, that people, they're still confused. Oh, how can I create a trust line? How can I create a trust line? The easiest way, just to be qualified. to get the airdrop is just download Solodex app on your Android or iOS devices. That's it. And just activate your Solo wallet. That's it. That's all you have to do. And make sure that, you have XRP and or Solo there. That's all you have to do. If you download the Solodex, Solo wallet, you don't really need to take any further action. Everything is automated.
Yeah, I went through the Trustline setup myself. I personally did the XRP tools, I think .com or whatever it is, and linked it to my Ledger device. And that was it. It was pretty painless and straightforward. Yeah, so it's super easy to set up. And I'll put a link in the description to the blog post you guys put out, which has the step-by-step instructions, which are really great. So it was easy to set that up. So, some folks had a question just about the trust lines, like, is this safe, right? And is there XRP at risk or their Solo tokens at risk? So maybe you can tell us about security-wise.
It is safe. Trust lines are part of XRP Ledger feature, right? Even if you try to trade two different IOUs, two different XRPL tokens, these two wallets, they need to have trust line with each other, right? So behind the scene, users they have been doing that for a long time, right? So if you are trading, let's say, Solo with XRP, you already have a trust line with us behind the scene, right? When you activated your wallet, we established a trust line. And this is harmless. And it's safe. It's part of the XRP Ledger feature. And I personally, I don't think there's any risk.
Yeah, for sure. And I was trying to tell some folks about that on Twitter too. Like, hey, you're not handing over your XRP. It's just a trust line. Like, there's no movement of your funds or anything like that. There was a question about, as far as Solo tokens. Well, once those are, what was that?
No, go ahead. I said yes.
Oh yeah. So once you have the Solo tokens, essentially you're free to do whatever you want with it, right? You can sell it, or you can go use it on the NFT marketplace or on the DEX, right? I mean, can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, you can do whatever you want to do with it, right? But obviously, we are creating some use case that perhaps it is into the benefit of. I'm not a financial advisor here. I don't want to give any sort of financial advice, but we are building, we're expanding Sologenic ecosystem, and everything on this ecosystem is going to be done by Solo, which is built on top of XRP Ledger. And so down the road, if people are going to use the ecosystem, they need to have Solo. So that's one part of it. And the other part, we're working on two projects. We have not announced it, and unfortunately, I cannot announce it here either. My team is going to hate me if I do that. But we are working, on something super, super exciting. And who knows, maybe we just announce it, sometimes in December.
Well, I would love to do maybe a Twitter Spaces with you, and since a lot of the Solo and XRP community is on Twitter, and then we both talk about it there and answer questions as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, awesome. So we'll definitely do that. So I personally, I'm planning to when the NFT marketplace is launched, I want to use my tokens on there to maybe buy some NFTs, but also mint my own NFTs and not have to pay ridiculously high fees like on Ethereum. So I'm looking forward to that. As far as the distribution, was there anything else folks should know, or do you think we covered all the respective areas?
I mean, it's very simple. I think we covered everything. All you have to do, just make sure you establish a trust line with Sologenic Gateway. Make sure you, if you don't know how to do that, simply download Sologenic DEX on your phone. Make sure that, you have XRP and or Solo, whichever asset or both asset, if you wish, to be qualified for the airdrop. And then we are going to take a snapshot on 24th of December, and then you're good to go. And by 20th of January 2022, the distribution is going to take place.
There's actually a question that just came to mind that I want to just confirm with you. Is the solo.org DEX available worldwide?
It is. Oh. Yeah, that's the beauty of DEX, right? There's no company behind it. We don't control, the whole exchange. It's XRP Ledger Exchange, as a matter of fact, right? And it's available globally. Right? Anybody can use that. There's no restrictions. So that's the beauty of decentralization.
That's awesome. It's amazing that everybody around the globe can participate because obviously we know, just regulators in different markets are doing their own thing, but because of the decentralization, it's great that everybody can participate. All right, cool. So I think we covered everything there. I wanted to wrap it up with a couple of questions here, getting your thoughts on the crypto market growth. Obviously, we're still in the bull market. If you had a Bitcoin price prediction, and what are you expecting, towards the end of the year, maybe into next year?
No, I think it is still too early. It is very early. We are in early ages of crypto, crypto market, crypto industry. As you can see that, as you can read on the news every day, more financial institutions, more companies, they get involved, in the crypto space. Either they adopt a new technology which has been built on blockchain, or they create their own token, their own crypto, right? Even governments, I've just read it somewhere on the news. Russia a while ago, they're going to issue their own national cryptocurrency, right? China, the same thing. So I think it's too early. And within the next few years, I would say sometimes by 2030, perhaps we're gonna see the full potential, of the market, and I don't want to give wrong hope to anyone that Bitcoin is going to be $2 million or $1 million, but no financial advice. But even XRP, I don't want to say it's going to be $100 or $10 or whatever. But we are early adopters, we are early investors, right? And if that you don't need that portion of money that you have invested into the cryptocurrency, I think the best thing to do is just to hold it, right? Just to hold it. If you're a believer, if you like the technology, if you like the space, just hold it for a few more years, and then I think everyone is going to see a better game.
For sure. Now, final question: if you were to create your own metaverse, what would it be about?
Yes, metaverse is a big deal, and I think it's going to change the world. And I like the fact that metaverse is going to be combined with cryptocurrency and blockchain. That's something that really excited me. And if I wanted to create my own metaverse, perhaps it was like a monster virtual university. The reason is I would just give access to some remote countries, right? To get better and higher educations, and think about that. So if we can do that, 50 years from now, what's going to happen? The level of education globally is going to get increased, right? And that means that smarter people are going to run the world, which is going to benefit the humanity, right? So I would just work on that, or other crazy ideas. Like, it's so cool that I'm a big fan of metaverse. When you talk about metaverse excited me, right? Or just create some sort of environment that change the online shopping experience, right? That's super cool. You want to buy a jacket or you want to buy a car, you just go inside, the store, right? Try on the jacket, look at yourself in the mirror, right? Actually feel the jacket, see how everything is. And like Amazon Go stores, just grab it and go. And the product is going to be shipped to your door, right? Same thing goes with the purchase of a car. You can actually test drive it, get the feeling of the car without, having to spend time going to dealership, and test drive the actual car. I think it's too early still, but down the road, this is the way that metaverse is going to be. What about yourself? What would you build? Let me ask you that question.
Well, I'm into like, space themes. I'll probably want to do something space related. I'm really into like the visuals of Blade Runner. I'll probably want to do something like that.
Very cool. Yeah, I like that idea too.
Yeah, more on the fun side, but the use cases you just brought up, I think that's certainly like gonna be something that we see in the future, and maybe that's another Sologenic initiative, and you guys build that on the XRP ledger. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, who knows? That's why I would like to focus on Sologenic.org, which is a nonprofit organization. We just want to build cool products, right? And who knows, maybe, I don't know, next year we decided to create metaverse, some project on metaverse. Nobody knows, but that's why I like technology. I want to be focusing on technology. I just, just to, running an exchange is not an easy job. It's super, super complicated, Tony, right? And when you start the exchange, you're talking about the regulated financial company, right? Which has its own regulation. Everyone wants to supervise you. Everyone wants to audit you. And you have to do it. It's because you're talking about money, right?
Yeah.
And so you ended up having absolutely no time to devote to other project or something that you always love, right? So that was exactly the reason that we sold CoinField, right? We wanted to focus on Sologenic. And as I said, for Sologenic.com, when we launched that company, once we get the license, I'm not going to be touching that. I'm not going to be part of that. It's going to have its own executive team. I want to focus on technology. That's my passion. That's the way to go.
That's awesome. And I appreciate the hard work and the vision that you have. Looking forward to the new things. And I'm excited for this NFT marketplace and the airdrop. So, Bob, always a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Same here, Tony. Thank you for having me.